Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 615 Southeast 155th Avenue here in Portland, located at the back of the house right next to the crawl space hatch. We have a 4-inch ABS cleanout as our point of access. We're going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is currently running. We're going to zero the foot camera out here at the base of the cleanout, and off we go. Transitioning here to 6-inch 3034, and so far, nice looking sewer line. We're hitting the main here at 74 feet. We're going to go locate that while the line drains. Alrighty, located the camera head successfully. Line terminates out on Southeast 155th Avenue. And if I didn't mention it, I describe everything as if you're standing in the road facing the front of the home. Line comes out the back of the house. It runs from left to right, wraps around the back right corner of the home, runs up the right side of the house, and straight on out to the road. And I was going to preface this one until I saw how short this is a very short cesspool conversion line. This line used to have a tank out back, and this is very common. Rather than reverse the plumbing, they just keep the line going out the back and wrap it around the home. Usually you end up with a line that's almost twice the length of this, and they almost always have some kind of settling problem, whether it's a belly, offset joint, something like that. So this was very nicely installed and kind of an ideal scenario. It's a home that sits very close to the road, so you didn't have to have a ginormous line. Now once we get back to the clean out, we're going to reverse direction and we'll run the camera back till it at least goes through the foundation wall. But everything I've seen thus far, from the clean out access to the main lateral, looks fantastic so far, and is quite a clean sewer line to boot. There's a little bit of some minor grease buildup on the line, which is pretty common to see in most homes. Relative to most houses, actually, this is very clean. And I recommend keeping that same habit up. Try not to put your cooking oil and fats in general down the kitchen sink drain. It makes a huge difference to how the line functions. It's much more forgiving when the line is abused. Less likely stuff's going to block up. Alright, we're going to flip the camera around. As far as I'm concerned, the line is perfection from the clean out to the main. I couldn't nitpick that thing if I tried to. Alright, we're now going backwards. Alright, here's some of the original cast iron. Pretty quick, we will, this is a smaller home, so we should start going up the roof. Oh, there we go. That's the end of the line right now. What we're looking at there at the back end, if you see that square shape, what that is the clean out access that's down in the crawl space area. So if you ever had to clear the line out, you could theoretically open that up in the crawl space and run a machine through it. Probably be easier, honestly, to yank a toilet or go through a roof vent, but it's there if you need it. Got some gunk hanging down right here, which at first glance, right now what's at the bottom of the screen is actually the top of the pipe. What I think you've got here at least the way it looks, that looks almost more like a bunch of tampons. Is the front door still unlocked?
I can unlock it again.
Actually, you know, let me do this really quick. I'm going to locate it. I'm just going to locate to see if this is inside or outside the home. But that right there, I am going to recommend be cleared out of there. I think what you've got is a bunch of gunk. I think it's a bunch of tampon strings. In fact, right here in front of the camera, it looks like another one. And those tend to snag up very easily. It could also potentially be roots. The way that looks, though, looks more like foreign debris than roots, but it's very gunked over and hard to tell what that stringy stuff is.
You're good to go.
All right, I'm having someone run some water inside. I just located, and I'm picking the locate signal up inside the house right now. Okay, that looks like that was the toilet there. That came from behind that. At least, yeah, it looks to look like it did anyway. Yeah, you can see how the water's draining down right here from the top of the pipe. Again, my camera's upside down right now, but that's all flowing to that fixture. So what that appears to be there is just some debris. So I am going to recommend the line be cleaned here to remove that gunk. Most of it's going to be caught on the drain connection coming into the top of the pipe here. These older lines like this, it's pretty common to see that, especially if it was a house full of girls at one point. Anytime you get a drain that ties into the top of especially cast iron, then you have a house that has some very long-haired people in it, stuff like that. It's a spot where you'll often see a lot of hair build up and or improper items, whether it's tampons or dental floss, stuff like that. It very easily gets caught right on those drain openings and then dangles down like that. So anyway, it's still theoretically possible that it could be roots. It's just it's quite uncommon to see roots on the interior or underneath a home. It's not impossible, but it's more likely that that's just debris there. So I recommend cleaning the line to remove the buildup, and then a rescope afterwards to show the work. Beyond that, you know, in general, what I'd recommend here is a general descale. You've got some pretty rough cast iron scale going on there. That just makes the pipe rougher and more likely to snag debris up as it comes through the line. So recommend cleaning it out, descaling all that junk out of there, and then blasting that back out. You need to do a rescope afterwards, and this is one of those that you don't want to try and do with an auger. The auger will knock all that stuff loose quite easily, but it's not going to flush the rust bits out of the line. That's the problem. So it's one that you realistically probably want to do by hydrojet. That allows you, once that rust is knocked loose, then you can blast it out of the pipe all the way to the main, and you're not leaving big piles of rust left over. So it's a combination of, you've got a bunch of foreign debris in there, as well as some rust scale. And don't get me wrong, the line is still functioning as it sits right now. It just makes it more likely that you could get a blockage in the line there because of that rougher pipe surface, as well as the debris that's in the line there that could potentially hang things up or at least contribute to it. Beyond that, all the ABS and PVC pipe looks fantastic. The cast iron you'll get a little better look at once it's been cleaned out. But typically speaking, you can descale the stuff and it usually looks pretty good on the other side there. So as the line sits, it is functioning. You'll have better or more proper flow after cleaning is performed.